Now, diabetes is the fourth leading cause of death in the Philippines. Nearly 4 million people are living with it, and it's projected to rise to over 5 million by 2030. Now, this World Diabetes Day, we talked to endocrinologist Dr. Monica Therese Cating-Cabral on health matters. It's a beautiful day, Doc. Thank you so much for joining us. We are so happy you're here live.
Live, right?
Yes, thank you. Thank you for the invitation. Good morning, Paolo, and everybody who's viewing us today.
I love it because normally doctors are afraid to go here for some reason. They're always via Zoom.
Via Zoom
you
lang,
are
yeah.
very brave.
Well,
to
we're
be
busy.
here. Yeah.
Mainly.
Yes, of course.
Oh, but of course, right now it is World Diabetes Day. It's a great time to raise awareness, and I don't think a lot of people realize how prevalent it is here in the Philippines.
Yes.
When we talk about the numbers that we were mentioning a while ago, 4 million living with it now. By 2030, it will rise around 5 million. The trends don't change, right?
Yes.
Just how prevalent is diabetes here in the Philippines, and do you feel that number might actually be underreported?
Definitely underreported. So when you talk about the national health surveys that say, it's around 4 or 5%, we're talking about adults 20 years old and above. And it's just a small population that they've actually been able to survey. And we also have patients with pre-diabetes. That's about, say, 27 million. So you add all the numbers up, we have a lot of patients who are at risk for becoming diabetic as well in the future. And we're underreported because, lack of testing, lack of awareness. So there are a lot of Filipinos out there who still need to be diagnosed and treated.
For the sake of our viewers, Doc, let's start with, telling them what exactly is diabetes and what are
Yes.
the main types that we need to know about, especially here in the Philippines.
Yes. So diabetes basically means your blood glucose levels are high, your blood sugar.
Yeah.
And this is because of two reasons. Either you have insulin that you can't use or insulin that you don't have. So insulin is a hormone that allows our glucose levels, so whatever you eat becomes sugar. Everything you become sugar, not just rice, everything becomes sugar eventually. That sugar needs to be stored in the body, anywhere in your muscles or in your fat tissue, so that you can use that, or your liver, so that you can use that later on for energy. To store it, you use insulin.
Okay.
So patients with, say, no insulin at all, that is type 1 diabetes.
Okay.
So it's a type of diabetes that we usually see in children, but it can be seen in younger adults as well. But it's an absolute absence of insulin, so they can only survive with insulin injections every time they eat.
Okay.
That's type 1.
Wow,
Okay.
Now, type 2 is insulin resistance, where you have the insulin or you don't have enough of it, and you just can't use it properly. So you're resistant to it. Ayaw mong
So your
gamitin.
body does not use it properly?
Correct.
Okay.
So when you can't use it properly, you can't store the glucose levels properly, the glucose, and it spreads around in the body, and that's what causes the complications.
Okay.
Now, for type 2 diabetes, we can use tablets, but we can also use insulin. So just because you're on insulin doesn't mean you're a type 1. But it's just that type 1 diabetics need insulin absolutely, no tablets. They don't respond to tablets.
Okay.
Yeah, so those are the two main types. There are a whole lot of other types. There's diabetes that occurs in pregnancy, so that's
Yes.
called
Gestational,
gestational diabetes, and it usually resolves after the pregnancy. But then these women and even the children are at risk for diabetes later on.
Okay. All right, so we saw the numbers that are on the rise.
Yes.
Is there any trend we can actually point at as to why that's happening? Because it feels like we're talking about it a lot. I feel more and more people are open about it, yet the numbers keep on growing. Is there something that we're seeing culturally or even lifestyle-wise that I guess Filipinos haven't really changed?
Okay. Lifestyle-wise, we are now seeing more sedentary lifestyles. The Zoom culture. We're not getting up to walk around anymore. It's so easy to get convenience foods. Less healthy foods are more available than healthy foods. And I guess the population is just growing so fast that we can't catch up. But awareness is still one thing. The ability to get patients diagnosed and treated, because cost is an issue as well. You can get diagnosed, but what if you can't treat the problem because the patients can't afford their medications? Those are the other problems
How about,
there.
Doc, how about rice? Because people blame rice in so
Especially
many
white
ways.
rice.
Okay.
Yeah.
Kasi tsaka
Alright.
rice-eating country talaga tayo.
Okay, we're
eh.
Asian.
Yeah. Yeah.
Being Asian is one of the risk factors, unfortunately. So if
Okay.
you're comparing being Asian and Caucasian, for instance, you can have the same what you call BMI, the body mass index. So that is how heavy you are for your height. So you take the same person, Asian and Caucasian, with the same BMI. you can actually see that the Asian person may have more visceral fat.
Yeah.
So it's the fat that's inside the body that you can't see. I'm not talking about, the round tummy and all that, but that's also a risk factor.
Yeah, marami
having
ako
a
dun. Yeah.
big tummy. So that may indicate that you have a lot of visceral fat, and that increases your risk more.
Okay.
So sometimes it's genetic. We have what we call non-modifiable risk factors. Age, you can't, slow down aging, unfortunately. You can't change your genetics. You can't change who your parents were.
Yeah.
So those are the things that are non-modifiable. But if we want to look at things that we can change, diet, exercise, not smoking, limiting alcoholic content, being more active, those are the things that we can change in terms of trying to prevent diabetes, or at least prevent it from getting worse.
And we also, talking about parents who are watching this interview right now on television, as parents, we also play a role
Yes.
in, making sure that as we raise our kids, we keep them safe from diabetes, right? Because you mentioned already a while ago, Doc, that young adults can have diabetes, children can have diabetes. Some people say that yung mga bata hindi naman nagkakaroon ng diabetes, right? But now we're seeing a growing number of children
Yes.
already having diabetes. And according to this survey in Manila, 1.4 per 1,000 pediatric patients in one Manila hospital had type 1 diabetes, and 0.91% prevalence for pediatric T2D in a survey. Now, what do these numbers tell us about yung risk for our children? And ano yung pinaka-common, Doc, na type that we see in Filipino children?
It's still type 2. It's still type 2 that's more common. Type 1 is really fairly rare all over the world. And then again, it's a problem of diagnosing them. Unfortunately, we don't get them all. But if we have more awareness, and of course, parents will be able to send their patients, their children, to the pediatricians, right? But in terms of kids, it's lifestyle, really. Parents, I tell my patients, I know you have a new baby, you had gestational diabetes, watch out for the baby becoming bigger as they get older. And I know the grandparents, unfortunately, it's the ones who want to, fatten them up.
Kaya ako tumaba dati, Doc.
You know what? That is so true.
Oh.
Kasi yung mga lolo't lola parang, kain ka
Yes,
nito, kain
because
ka nito.
Cute babies, fat babies are cute,
That's true though.
But fat adults are not. So unfortunately, when you're obese in your infancy or in your childhood, and even if you lose the weight, it can all come back. So that rebound that they call.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. So I think it is a lot. It's not just the parents. It's really the culture. Fast foods and processed foods. These are the ads that the children see all the time.
Right.
These are the things that are easy to access. And I know we do have some laws. Like the beverage tax and etc.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
it's not enough. We're trying to get legislature to show that front of package labels. The nutrition facts on the back.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes, they're there, but I can barely read them.
Yeah.
You know,
They need to
even
be bigger.
even kids can't really read them, right? It's not very clear. So now they're talking about front of package
Yeah.
labeling. And then I know that some cities have tried to, publish the caloric content of certain foods. And it's not consistent all over.
That's true.
So that's still something that we need to pick up on. We need healthier practices in our community,
Right.
not just at home. But of course, it starts at home. So if we can try to have healthier foods at home, whole foods, fruits and vegetables, less of the packaged stuff. If you look at our what we call pinggang Pinoy, so I think they're
Yeah.
showing it here, no? So the pinggang Pinoy, it's like dividing your plate into, look, surprisingly, 33% rice. Rice is not the enemy
culprit?
here.
No, it's
Okay.
not.
It's the amount.
Yeah.
Okay.
See, and then even if you don't eat rice, but you replace it, for instance, with bread. So a lot of people don't know that half a cup of rice is like a slice of bread.
Yes.
Okay, so that exchange is also something that we're not aware of. And then look, the other 33% is vegetables. You only have 17% protein and then 17% fruit. There is nothing on that plate that says candy or juice or soda or chips, right? And then
Yes,
that other thing
yes.
on that glass on the side is water.
Water. Right, right.
So juice is nice, but the juice also has fruit
lot of sugar.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fructose. So even if it's unsweetened, no added sugar, even buko water, buko juice is still juice.
Yeah.
Yeah. So if you're gonna try and replace sugary things in your diet, eliminate the drinks. all drinks that have any sugar in them, even flavored coffees. You know, you go to a coffee shop and they put a lot of syrup in those things.
Even zero sugar drinks,
But
right?
they have
Yeah.
milk sometimes. And the milk is the one that actually has a lot of calories as well.
Well, my coffee's black.
I was gonna
safe
say,
to.
black coffee to.
Black coffee, yes.
I mean, okay, honestly, this is 3-in-1. Okay?
Naku, Doc, hindi yan
one
safe.
a day.
One a day.
One a day.
One a
You know?
sige.
Okay.
I think that's something we also have to emphasize. Sometimes it's not necessarily avoiding all the foods totally,
Exactly.
Yeah, yeah.
but it's having something in moderation.
Moderation.
Yes.
Yes.
So the bad stuff in moderation, so once in a while, rarely, okay, and then the better stuff. So I've recently learned this method. You know, you tell your patients, don't eat this, don't, no, and they're gonna not listen to you
Yeah.
anymore. So maybe we can like encourage even our kids. You know, the way
Okay.
is, okay, how about we add some vegetables today, or you know, this
Okay.
week try and
Yeah.
eat 3 more servings of vegetables. Here, have some fruit. You know, instead of saying no, then maybe, you know, if you encourage them to add
To do something else.
that's something
yeah.
healthy. Yes.
I get that.
Now, yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, because right now we're going through all of these things here, and some people are discovering their preferences may not be it when
Yes.
it comes to living a healthy diet.
Mm-hmm.
What do you feel are the biggest misconceptions that you find yourself correcting most people on when they're talking about diabetes?
Rice.
I was gonna say, I think number one is
It's
rice.
definitely rice.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, yes, you can eat rice, but
Yeah.
maybe, you know, don't eat 2 cups, eat 1 cup.
Yeah,
You know, even if you cut out like 500 calories a day, you would lose a pound a week.
that's true.
So 500
Yeah.
calories a day would be 2.5 cups of rice. So if you're a usual 6 cup of rice person per day, you know, you cut out 3 cups, you've already cut out more than 500 calories. You'll lose a pound a week. But don't replace it. You
Yeah.
know, don't replace it with like 5 slices of bread.
True.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
But how about the rice alternatives that we're seeing right now?
Yes.
We're
Okay.
seeing
Shirataki
adlai,
rice.
shirataki,
Yeah.
brown,
Okay.
red,
All right.
black.
Black rice.
Oo.
So
Yeah.
the types of rice which have more fiber in them, okay, the fiber prevents your glucose levels from spiking too much. White rice doesn't really have that much fiber. You can change that by eating reheated rice.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. I've
That's-
seen reels about
Yeah,
that.
that's the glycemic index that you're
Yes.
talking
Yeah,
about.
yeah.
Yes.
But taken all together, if you still eat too much, it's still too much.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
quality and quantity, they both matter. So, I mean, everybody's like, so what am I going to eat? Well, general moderation. Add more whole foods, less processed foods.
Yeah.
That's the easiest way to say it. I know it's easier said than done because a lot of people stress eat. Sometimes it's the availability of the food. So, you know, diabetes awareness, World Diabetes Day this year is focusing on diabetes in the workplace.
Oh, really? Okay.
I have had patients, you know, they go into a new job and they say, oh, you know, we had like unlimited soda and iced tea, etc.
Oh.
They come back to me years later and they have diabetes. So sometimes it's also the workplace that's
Yeah.
making it worse.
And also stress in the workplace. How does stress or even sleep, lack of sleep, you know, influence blood sugar levels and diabetes risk?
So those both increase cortisol levels. So when you're stressed, when you don't get enough sleep, there are other hormones called ghrelin and all of these other hormones that are affected when you don't get enough sleep, and they can increase your glucose levels as well. Now, people say, so should I get my cortisol level checked? No, you don't need to do that. Cortisol is only checked in certain disease entities. It's not a regular lab test.
Yeah.
So please don't start going out and checking your cortisol levels. But that is why your glucose levels can go up as well with stress.
When
Okay.
we talk about improving insulin sensitivity, because that is something that people are aiming to do, especially when they fight against diabetes, what are the ways to actually do that?
So if you have pre-diabetes or diabetes, we have a medication called metformin.
Yeah.
And there's another one called pioglitazone. So these are 2 insulin sensitizers. Please only take them upon the prescription of your doctor, of
Doctor,
course.
yes.
Yeah.
There are other, things that we need to check before you start these medications. But that's another misconception. Metformin destroys the kidneys. I get this every day. It does not destroy the kidneys. Okay. Metformin metformin is usually stopped, however, when you do have kidney problems because it just stays around in the body too long. Because your kidneys are supposed to eliminate
Yeah.
all of these things. But metformin is an insulin sensitizer. It's a good medication. I wouldn't stop it just because you read somewhere that it does something to your kidneys or to your liver or causes cancer. It does not.
Okay.
But insulin sensitivity is also improved by exercise. So if you can exercise, 30 minutes a day, it doesn't have to be 30 minutes all at once. If you can break it up into 10 minutes if you don't have time. And then every other day or at least 5 days a week, try to fit it in somewhere. That also helps with reducing insulin resistance.
But now that we're talking about medication, I wanted to ask about Ozempic. Like people all over the world have been talking about Ozempic, taking it for the wrong reasons
Yes.
as well. So what does it do?
Okay.
The GLP-1.
Yes.
Yeah.
So GLP-1 receptor agonists are injectable medication. There are daily formulations. There are weekly formulations.
Yeah.
And it does help with controlling glucose levels. It makes you feel full.
Yeah.
So it
Okay.
slows down how your stomach digests the food. So when you feel full, you're supposed to stop eating. So that's another problem. As social eaters, Filipinos, eat in groups. It's a way that we bond with family and friends.
yeah.
It's family style. You just keep on eating even if you start feeling full already. So once you're on a GLP-1 receptor agonist, it kind of makes you feel that fullness and you're supposed to stop. So patients who don't stop eating when they feel that fullness already, when they're on the GLP-1 receptor agonist, they throw up or they feel the nausea. So that's because the stomach is
Yeah.
stretching out. The thing about Ozempic, is that some of these injectables are only approved for diabetes. So they're being misused in ways for weight loss,
Weight loss,
etc.
yeah.
And what I want to tell the public really is, if you're going to use any of these injectables, to please make sure you buy them from a pharmacy.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because we have a lot of people out there who are selling them online.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Other practitioners who may or may not be doctors who are giving them in the clinics for exorbitant prices.
Yeah.
And we wonder where these medicines are really coming from.
Yeah.
Because only the FDA approved ones are the ones that are being sold in the pharmacies. So whatever's being sold in a clinic, if you're not sure what it is, I don't know where it's come from, I don't know where it was manufactured, so we can't guarantee its safety
Yeah.
and even its potency, for instance. And a lot of patients pay thousands
That's true.
for these medications.
And sometimes they market it as a mixture of this and that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So they add on all of these supplements that cost a lot. Okay. And I know, the weight loss industry is $1 billion industry.
Yeah.
And this is why, because we provide these things. There are people who do give these programs for weight loss, for instance, and they charge so much.
Yeah.
But I tell you, the patients that I see, they come back to me and they say, it didn't work, or I paid so much and I only lost this much. It's not for everyone. Not
Yeah.
everyone who's going to do this injectable is actually going to lose weight, because in the first place they weren't formulated for weight loss.
Yeah,
It just so
exactly.
happened, that this was like an effect
It's
of
a
the
side effect
medication.
of it. Yeah.
Yeah, but it's a good medication. Patients really get well controlled for their diabetes. There are formulations that are for weight loss alone, but please do these under the prescription of a doctor, because
Yeah.
there are lots of other things to look at.
Yeah.
It may not be right for you.
Are there any other new developments in terms of diabetes treatment, technology, identification, and of course, how can we encourage more people to at least get themselves tested and try and figure out whether or not they're pre-diabetic in the first place?
So let's go to the testing first and how to get diagnosed. So we have blood tests, of course. There's something called a fasting blood sugar that it's easy to do, but
Yeah.
sometimes we miss, the sugars that come after. You eat something, your glucose levels go up,
Yeah.
right? So some patients, they may have diabetes or pre-diabetes and their fasting glucose levels are normal. So we sometimes do something called a glucose tolerance test. So a lot of pregnant women may know this. So you go in fasting, they get your blood first, then they make you drink something sweet.
Yeah, I did that.
You
Oh
did?
my God,
Yeah.
yeah.
75-gram oral glucose tolerance test. I've done it 3 times.
I haven't done it yet.
Okay, you can if you want. Men can do it as well, okay? But what you need to do is you get the first hour after you've drunk the sugary drink, and then second hour. But it's a standard 75 grams of glucose. And then we see, 0, 1, and 2 hours, which of the levels are elevated. And at a certain level, it's pre-diabetes. Anything higher than 200 on any of those levels is diabetes. fasting glucose more than 126 is also diabetes. We have an HbA1c as well. But again, each test is different. You need to talk to your doctor about which is right for you. Other places they can't do all of those tests. At the very least, maybe an HbA1c or a random blood sugar. So it's something after you've eaten, maybe then it's high. So that's how we can test our patients. And of course, go see your doctor.
Yeah.
If you've seen on the screen, we were flashing IWAS. So apat dapat sa diabetes is our battle cry for our advocacy for diabetes at the Philippine College of Endocrinology, Diabetes Metabolism. And tandan ang IWAS. So IWAS is involve your doctor, ikonsulta sa doktor, go see your doctor. And then W is work on mindful eating. So you see here our pinggang Pinoy, wastong pagkain, right? And then active lifestyle, exercise, aktibong pamumuhay. And then medication, sapat at angkop na gamot, safe and appropriate medications.
Yeah.
So again, being prescribed. If you're talking about technology, we do have things called insulin pumps. And these
Insulin pumps.
Yes. So these are automated machines. They're attached to the body with a little cannula and a little little port. It's called, and then it actually delivers the insulin continuously. It's usually used by type 1 diabetics. Because remember I said type 1 diabetics need
don't have it.
insulin,
Yeah.
absolutely,
Yeah.
yes. Although it's very expensive here in our country, if patients can afford it, the technology is amazing. It can also talk to what we call a continuous glucose monitor.
Okay.
So have you seen those patients, they scan things on their
Yeah,
arms?
yeah.
So there's two kinds of those. There's the ones that you have to scan still, or there's the one that's already attached and it talks to the pump.
Wow. Okay.
So it's amazing where patients can get really very good control. Unfortunately, it's still a little pricey, but I hope those things become more affordable as time goes on.
Yeah, so many things to really consider here, and of course we're hoping more and more people get tested and more people find out whether or not they have it, and of course make that lifestyle change. But then again, with it being World Diabetes Day here, what message do you want to leave to those who are watching, who are curious whether or not they are pre-diabetic or are diabetic, and of course needs to really have a change in their lifestyle and in the way that they approach basic things like even eating?
Yes. So if you are at risk, meaning you have family history of diabetes, you yourself are obese or overweight, sometimes you really don't feel anything when you already have diabetes. They say that you should start screening at 35 years old and above. But if you have any of those risk factors, you can even start earlier. Like I said, we have younger patients, teenagers even, who have type 2 diabetes as well. But I want everybody to know, with proper care and following our apat dapat IWAS, patients with diabetes can live a very long, productive life. And you can go through your life with minimal or even no complications as long as you consult with your doctor, eat the right foods, stay healthy, and take your medication.
All right. I wish we had more time to talk about this, Doc, but thank you so much for joining us today. Before we let you go, we always ask this final question to our guests. Our show is called Beautiful Day. So what makes your day beautiful?
Well, what makes my day beautiful is when I see a patient come back to me and say that everything is better, that they feel better, and they thank me at the end for helping them.
That's such a great
Thank you,
professional
Doc.
answer.
I
I
know.
love that. It's fantastic. Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen. That's endocrinologist Dr. Monica Therese Cating-Cabral. And we just want to say thank you again. And hopefully we get to talk to you again soon for some other topics that need awareness as
you.
well.
Yes.
Really
Thank you,
appreciate you, Doc.
Doc.